Washington is buzzing this morning as the House prepares to vote on a measure to force the release of the Epstein files.
In a stunning reversal, President Trump now publicly urging Republicans to support that effort. Christina Fan joins us here in the studio with more on this. Christina.
Chris and Mary, good morning. If this bill is passed, it would force the Justice Department to release all files and communications related to Jeffrey Epstein, as well as any information about the investigation into his death in federal prison. Over the weekend, President Trump made an abrupt U-turn on the issue, urging House Republicans to release the files, saying, quote, "We have nothing to hide." On Capitol Hill, the House is expected to vote today on the Epstein Files Transparency Act.
I think it'll be a large vote, Cal.
A bipartisan group has been pushing towards this vote, and it's expected to have at least the two-thirds majority needed to pass.
I think the public has the right to know.
This isn't about President Trump. I mean, this is about women who are seeking justice and finally getting it.
President Trump previously opposed the release of the files, but on Sunday suddenly reversed his position, saying he now supports the measure, though he still maintains the Epstein issue is a hoax.
It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax.
Questions about the president's ties with Epstein were renewed last week after Congress released emails from the late convicted sex trafficker and one-time Trump friend. The president has said they had a falling out more than a decade ago, and he had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes. The emails also showed friendly messages Epstein shared with Larry Summers, a former Treasury Secretary under President Bill Clinton and the former president of Harvard University. Summers has come out saying he is deeply ashamed of his actions and that he will be stepping back from public life. Ahead of Tuesday's House vote, several survivors of Epstein's abuse spoke out, pushing for action.
Speaking as one of the victims, I beg you to release these files once and for all. I mean, there is no valid reason for refusing to do so.
The bill is expected to pass the House with Republican support, but it remains unclear if the Senate will take up the measure. The bill would also need a signature from President Trump, which he has now indicated he is willing to provide, as we just heard him say on camera.
Exactly. It's last week, President Trump calling on prominent Democrats to be, with ties to Epstein, to be investigated. Could that impact the release of these files?
Yeah, so in that Truth Social post from last Friday, President Trump urged the DOJ and the FBI to look into ties that Jeffrey Epstein had with these Democrats, including Bill Clinton and Larry Summers, among others. Now, a lot of lawmakers are worried about this because they say that the DOJ could potentially say, we need to keep these files sealed because there is a new active investigation. But an important thing to keep in mind was that 4 months ago, back in July, the DOJ actually released a memo then saying that they had conducted an exhaustive search of all the material and determined there was no new evidence to warrant any new investigation. So it'll be interesting to see what they do now.
Yes, now that they've got all these files that are from the estate, it opens up a couple of other doors. All right, Christina, thank you very much.